Good evening and welcome to video number 12 of my 20 video series. Today I'm going to talk to you about chunky salsa. Now this version is homemade and this is what I had tonight for an appetizer for dinner. Very simple. I was on my way from the market, or so to speak. I was on my way home and I stopped at the market because I was hungry, wanted a snack, and I knew it was too early to have dinner and it was too late to have lunch. And I don't want to get no junk food or any fast food. I never get fast food. So I went in with the intention of getting some hummus and some chips. But then I thought, why don't I take it a step further and make some chunky salsa and some one of those scoop tortilla chips. So straight to the produce section, I grabbed 4 Roma tomatoes. Actually, no, I grabbed 6 Roma tomatoes. 4 of them were going to be used for the puree, and 2 of them were going to be used to be chopped and diced. I grabbed 1 white onion, 1 bunch of cilantro, and 2 jalapenos. Now the jalapenos, I chose them to be plump, and they had to have like stretch marks, for the lack of a better term, to kind of get a little bit more spiciness out of it. And at home, I had garlic already. So once I got home, the 4 Roma tomatoes were boiled in water. Like a light simmer for about 20 minutes. Once you see the skin kind of like peel off, remove them, let them cool for a little bit, take off the skin completely, and also the really important part is the little node where it hangs off of the branch. You got to cut that out, and it's kind of, kind of hard slash little time consuming, but really got to get the little node off because it doesn't blend very well. So now you have 4 of your tomatoes that are peeled and kind of cooling off. Put them in a food processor, and if you don't have a food processor, go ahead and put them in a blender. Do not add water. Blend them and set that aside. Now for the rest, you get half of the white onion. You dice it into, I want to say 1/4-inch squares. That's about a good size for a chunky. If you go too small of a piece, then it's more like a sauce and not a salsa. Same thing with the tomatoes, same thing with the jalapenos. Dice them into about 1/4 to about 3/8 size little cubes or little squares. And then you set those aside too. And the same thing with the garlic. I forgot to mention, you actually boil the garlic with the 4 Roma tomatoes, and you blend that with the Roma tomato puree, so that way you have your garlic inside the puree. Okay, so you combine all your ingredients, the tomato puree of the 4 tomatoes and the sliced and diced veggies, the cilantro, the 2 jalapenos. And now the 2 jalapenos, you have to take the seeds out. Very important. The seeds, they just kind of take away from the overall look. And, I don't like to eat seeds anyways. And cilantro, tomato, diced. What else? The onions, the puree, combine all that together, and it's going to be kind of thick, which is okay. You boil it, and the boiling process is going to take about 30 minutes. So you boil all those ingredients together, you let it kind of simmer. You don't want a rolling or a rapid boil, you want to simmer, and just kind of keep checking back at it. Once the onion starts to look clear, it's okay to take it off the heat and start cooling it off. I like to take pieces of the onion and taste test them. And once the consistency of the onion is pretty soft, then you know your salsa is ready, because everything else is already going to be cooked by then. The onion tends to take a little bit longer, and that's it. I'd wait until it's kind of cooled off. You serve it when it's cool. It's best when you serve it when it's cold, but if you're in a hurry, you're gonna try to like set upside some in a serving dish and kind of stir it with the spoon to kind of cool it off. And the rest of it, I was able to put it into a mason jar. And obviously, before you close the lid, you let the mason jar sit with the lid on top, kind of loose, so the steam escapes. Once there's no more steam, and it's kind of still hot but warm to the touch, where you can hold it with both hands and it doesn't burn you, it's safe to seal the lid and put it in the refrigerator overnight. I don't expect this to last more than 4 days, but typical shelf life is about 5 days. So right now it's around the 5-minute mark. So for the videos, I try to hit about a 10-minute mark. And a 10-minute mark, it's kind of good because if you're searching for a video, you don't want to see a 30-minute video or a 2-minute video. So the sweet spot tends to be about between 5 and 10 minutes. And when it comes to something as easy as this, I run out of things to say. But I'll tell you when I started making the salsa. I bought the store-bought salsa, and I thought that was kind of expensive because you get like a tiny little jar, and you spend like $5, and you eat it fast. I could sit down and in one sitting finish an entire jar of chips, and I don't even need to be hungry. I just like it so much. So then I flipped it around, looked at the ingredients, and everything that I had listed had been included inside. So, you know, obviously tomato, onion, garlic, jalapenos. But then, you know, since it's a store-bought shelf item, it goes a step further and adds preservatives. So obviously the store-bought stuff will last longer in your fridge, about 2 weeks or so after it's been opened. And the stuff you made at home is going to last about 5 days. Now that's good for 2 reasons. It gives you a reason to eat it, and at the same time, there is no preservatives in this salsa, so it's going to spoil, and it's good because it's fresh. And fresh fruits tend to spoil quickly. It's a big hit. If you're going to a potluck or like a gathering and you're not sure what to bring, make a salsa. It's easy / unique. It's time consuming, and not too many people would bring that. You know, everyone brings soda, everyone brings chips, everyone brings Bud Light. No, you stand out by bringing a homemade salsa. And if you become really good at it, that's going to be your item for the potluck. And then you upscale to a 1-gallon jar, and you make it by the pot. And it takes a little bit longer. You need to buy a big blender, but it's really worth it. And people always love salsa. You could increase the heat by adding more jalapenos or decreasing the tomato puree. If it's too hot, you just put another tomato in there. So sometimes I like to have a couple tomatoes extra as a backup for emergency puree. If I think that it's not going to be thick enough, or not going to be, if it's too thick, then you add some tomato puree. And if it's too spicy, tomato puree. I haven't really experimented with any other type of chilies other than jalapenos. Jalapenos they tend to be mild once they're simmered in this process. But if you want to step it up, you get some other stuff like some habaneros or some chile de arbol. Arbol chilies are pretty hot. Or yeah, I mean, you get creative. If you want to take it even a step further, so there's one restaurant in Hawaii had a claim where they had the hottest salsa. Now they typically say 1 through 3, so green, light red, dark red. And they said this one was like a 5 for spiciness, the hottest sauce they had. And they made it with ghost chili and Thai pepper. And it was good, but like the outside of your face burned. So just another thing to think about. You could always change the chilies. You could always add more. You could always get exotic spices. Do whatever you want, you know, have fun with it. And it's not like an etched in stone recipe. That's why I just kind of give you what I use, but not exactly how much of it I used. So you can kind of change the recipe to your liking. And one last thing, do not add salt. Do not add sugar. Do not add vinegar. That's it. I didn't add that. And, you know, the less ingredients you use, the better. Okay, so thank you for watching. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. And if you're not already subscribed to this channel, please subscribe. I will be releasing more videos in the time to come. Thank you.